Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory podcast here with Tad and Will this evening. We're here to bring you January football, talk to you guys about all things, football in the month of January, which, Tad, of all years, or I'm sorry, of all months of the year, what better month than January to do anything with football? That's not even NFL, too folks, even if you're a college fan, you got the college football playoff, all the ball games. This is literally January is just the happiest month to be a football fan. So Christmas comes in the month of January for us football fans. So here we are, and especially for our teams that Tad and I root for. More so Tad's team because I don't know. Both of our teams got pretty heavy challenges going into the playoffs, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Niners and Cardinals. Yeah, Tad, and these are two teams, the Niners and the Cardinals, that we certainly anticipated and expected might have had bigger, grander type seasons than what they. And maybe not so much
Especially
with the
the
Cardinals, but
49ers.
definitely with the 49ers.
I'd say the Cardinals, they kind of exceeded expectations. I saw them maybe as like a 5 to 6 win team, and here they are. Um, Late into the season, they were still relevant in the playoff race. Obviously, didn't break their way, but I'd say they took a step forward.
They took a step forward. They went out here and did what they needed to do to contend, to compete. So it's just now a matter of can they build upon this for next season? Can they grow from it? Can they develop from it? Can Kyler Murray, maybe focus a little less on the Call of Duty and more so on the film? That's just kind of, I think he's a great quarterback. Personally. Um, so it's just a matter of he only has himself that's in the way of his development and his growth.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I mean, 25 at 35, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, a beautiful performance. Um, you love to see it from Kyler Murray. Uh, and you wanted to, obviously, this is a franchise. Listen, Tad, we talked about like some other teams that are in the major trenches of a rebuild. And let's not get mistaken. The Arizona Cardinals just about a season ago were in the similar trench, but they are actually digging themselves out of it now.
The Arizona Cardinals, they're in an interesting spot. They haven't won a playoff game since 2015 was the last time they made it past the wild card round. And now here you are. This is the sixth year of Kyler Murray's career, so he's still waiting for that first career playoff win. So he's had some good moments in the regular season. He's um had some moments where he's shown that he has potential, but I'd say at this point he's getting to the point in his career where it's kind of time where he needs to take a jump and he needs to be that leader that can get Arizona to be a relevant team in the playoffs. And that's just not something he's done in his career to this point.
And that's not all of his fault. This
Sure.
Cardinals franchise has, not. You got very solid pieces out there like Michael Carter, Greg Dortch, even Tony. Who Greg Dortch did fumble, but yeah, maybe even the defense. It's just they're Tad, to me. They're just like a very weird team in a very weird spot right now overall.
Yeah, a very weird team. I don't really know exactly what to make of the Arizona Cardinals. They're a team like they've not really shown that they're all that close to taking the next step. But if you just keep building, if you just keep improving your pieces, develop Marvin Harrison Jr.,
Yeah,
obviously the rookie receiver,
who had
who,
a tremendous year, by the way.
yeah, yeah, he went out there and he had a year. He had 885 yards, 8 touchdowns, 62 receptions. Maybe they would have expected a little more statistically out of Marvin Harrison Jr., but I mean, with him, the potential's there, and I think he's when it's all said and done, he's gonna have a chance to be one of the top receivers in the rookie class. I mean, obviously Neighbors is incredible. Brian Thomas Jr.'s been incredible, but I think he'll be right up there with them when it's all said and done in their careers. But I mean, this is just you got to keep improving. You got to keep getting pieces. I mean, you're gonna have the number 16 pick in the draft, so not exactly a high pick in the draft. So just gonna be interesting to see what they do to fortify their team. I mean, do you get want to get a little stronger on defense? I think. I mean, they'd probably want to look at the defensive side of the ball, probably improve the front seven.
Yeah, you want to improve the front seven. You want to be able to improve the defense. I mean, granted, this was a very solid defensive performance in this particular game. I mean, they got some solid pieces on that defense. Buda Baker, even guys like Zavon Collins, Oka Okwara, guys of that nature. Baron Browning, even. I mean, not statistically in this game did he have a flashy game, but guys like DJ Dallas, even. I mean, they got some talented pieces, but like you were mentioning, probably the front seven. Maybe you go after like a defensive lineman or something like that, or it's just or maybe even go after a bench quarterback, maybe start developing him. I mean, Kyler Murray is obviously the planned guy for a while.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they got. I mean, who is even their bench quarterbacks right now? Let's just check this really quick.
And I know they had Clayton Tune in the past. I don't know that he's still the backup, but he's been on
Yeah,
their
it's
team.
still Clayton Tune. He's listed as the second string quarterback.
Clayton, they only have two listed on their roster. I'm sure they have some more if you go into like their practice squad and stuff. But I mean, obviously, like they'll retune their roster moving into the new year. But for now, like obviously Kyler Murray's the guy.
Kyler Murray's the guy. You know, Greg Dortch didn't have like a terrible season either. The fourth-year player out of Wake Forest did go undrafted, 37 catches, 342 yards, three touchdowns. He is listed as their WR3, so I mean, a solid enough piece there. So obviously the tight end tight end room is pretty stacked. Shout out to Travis Vokalek there out of Nebraska as the fourth string tight end on that roster. Um, and then you also, yeah, like I said, I mean, you're just looking at this roster and it's like you got some solid pieces, but I would say probably the biggest thing they need to develop is that front seven. And I mean, maybe you get like a solid, maybe a more solid linebacking core.
Yeah, part of the front seven there. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how they attack the off season. I think there's some different ways they could go
And as
with that.
far as the San Francisco 49ers go, we'll recap them really quick. So, yeah, with the 49ers, 6 and 11, they got really hit with injuries, Tad. And I mean, yeah, to even start the season, you had Christian McCaffrey, who did have a short stint in the season. And then even, Brock Purdy getting injured at one point, IU, Debo Samuel, it just got really bad late, Tad.
Trent
Um,
Williams. You
what's
also
up?
have Trent Williams as well.
The left tackle Trent Williams. Yes, I always forget to mention him. You're great about bringing him up. Thank you. Yeah, they're like star left tackle, probably the best left tackle in the NFL. Trent Williams out
He's
with
up there, yeah.
um. So they just got really hit with injuries. So you need to get these guys healthy. And I mean, I already know your personal emotional feelings about Brock Purdy. And I mean, hey, folks, if you don't know, it's a whole thing between Tad and I. I love simply bringing up and hyping up Brock Purdy because Tad is an Iowa fan, and Brock Purdy played for Tad's rival school, Iowa State. And I know, just deep in his heart and soul, he loves seeing Brock Purdy succeed at the NFL level. An Iowa
Wow.
State
I
alumni
mean, it's
quarterback.
getting to an interesting point here in Brock Purdy's NFL career that now
Yes,
the
but
time that he's expecting his second contract and at this point, it's going to be obviously it's going to be a lot more expensive than the rookie contract he's been on. So there's a lot of questions with what San Francisco is going to do there. Do you want to make that big investment? I mean, obviously you built a very strong team around Brock Purdy, and giving him the big contract that would throw that into jeopardy. So some big decisions there for San Francisco.
Some big decisions there for San Francisco, indeed. And do you maintain guys like Jordan Mason or Christian McCaffrey? Do you like try to lock? I mean, Christian McCaffrey, Tad, I would say the biggest question mark for this franchise moving forward is the health of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's always a question. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, obviously, when he's out there, when he's playing, they're one of the best teams in football. And when he's not playing, I mean, they're still generally a fairly solid team, but they're not like a team that's going to compete for the Super Bowl without him.
I mean, I just would hate to see if 2023 was literally the peak of Christian McCaffrey. I really hope it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's an unfortunate reality that I mean, probably like his best and most consistent play is behind him, but I still think if you give him like maybe shorter stints, I still think he can go out and be an incredible running back. I mean, I have no doubt that he can still be a premier player in the league. Perhaps in shorter stints.
Perhaps in shorter stints. I mean, maybe you go out there. Like, I think Christian McCaffrey would be an amazing running back in, like, say, Detroit when you got, like, Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery around you. Or if you had, like, I would just say if Christian McCaffrey had more of a, or he didn't have to carry the running back room, if he had, like, a running back room that could, like, give him some support, that might be better.
And I mean, he's had that. I mean, this was a strong running back room this year. It's just sometimes it's just you get in an unfortunate spot where there's not really a lot you can do. I mean, it's just, but yeah, I think moving forward, they definitely need to be careful with his carries. Like, don't overdo it.
Some news coming out. Yeah, it does look like the 49ers also do plan to release Javon Hargrave. They are not going to release Debo Samuel. So they do plan to keep Debo Samuel there. Just
That
some
would be
news
the
on
plan,
that.
man.
So yeah, that's probably the biggest things going on right now for the 49. They also did fire their special teams coach. Uh,
Obviously, they had that inconsistency at the end of the year with Moody, their kicker. That was
yes,
an
yes,
unfortunate
absolutely.
situation late in the year. He gets injured midway through the year, and he's just never the same after the injury. I mean, obviously, he still has all the potential in the world to be a quality kicker, but it's just he wasn't ready to come back. It felt like.
So there you have it, folks. A recap of the 49ers season, along with a recap of the Cardinals season as these two teams played each other in week 18. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us next week for Super Wild Card Weekend football. And yeah, be sure to catch us next season into the preseason when we preview all 32 teams then. And we'll talk more on the 49ers and Cardinals and see what they did in their offseason when we'll talk about it. So stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. This is the Gridiron Glory podcast with Dad and Will.